Stephen Curry is one of the coolest, calmest NBA stars we have had in years, but even he throws his mouthpiece at a ref once in a while. In a game where you bang in the post, get contact on a drive, and, at least in the playoffs, really care about the outcome of a game, it's honestly a surprise NBA players don't fight refs more often. Here are some of those incidents. Dennis Rodman, who would have thought he'd wind up in this video? Before the Bulls had even won 4 rings, there were bumps in the road along the way. In this game, the golden-haired version of Rodman slammed the ball after being beat on a pick and roll, picking up his first technical, and then after being called for a second foul, made a gesture and poked both of his hands down his pants, picking up a second technical, making him ejected before the first quarter was even over. After arguing his case with the referee, he gave the ref a headbutt, making contact above the ref's left eye. And he wasn't done yet. Before heading into the locker room, Rodman took off his jersey, threw it onto the court, knocked over water on the sidelines, and ran towards the locker room. He must have been in a WWE state of mind. Jordan would speak on the issue, saying, "A lot of what you see in Dennis is his image and persona. He has continued to feed off that, and that's very dangerous to this team's success. We're asked to absorb his whole repertoire, his skills, as well as his image. And we did that. No matter how you look at it, if he wants to be a part of this team, he's going to have to be there when we really need him. Right now, he's not there when we need him." Rajon Rondo is one of the feistier players in the league. He's been handed over several different suspensions and has hurled homosexual slurs at a ref. In the 2012 postseason, the Boston Celtics mini-dynasty of their Big Three began to unravel, and so did Rajon Rondo. In the final minute of the game, with the Celtics down 4 points to the Hawks in Game 1, the Hawks poked away the ball from the Celtics, and after several players dove for it, the officials called it Hawks ball and a loose ball foul. Rondo let the ref know of his disapproval, bumped him with his chest out, and was immediately ejected. Doc Rivers would speak on the incident saying, "I'm always worried, but I would be surprised if a suspension happens. I thought Rondo was walking toward Mark, and Mark turned back toward him, and that's when Rondo bumped him. That's all it was in my opinion, but we'll see." Rondo was suspended for 1 game after the incident. The Celtics would win the series and 1 more before eventually losing to the 2012 champion Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Markieff Morris was bound to wind up on the list of players that shoved a referee. This also came in the postseason, but in the first round of the 2018 playoffs. In Game 3, the Wizards were already nearing backs against the wall potential as they were down 0-2, and just 2.5 minutes into the game, Morris shoved Anunoby with his back turned, which escalated and brought in Gortat and Valanciunas to separate the two of them. Also in the middle of them was referee Kenny Maurer. Morris also shoved the referee, earning him a technical foul and a $25,000 fine, although no ejections. Morris would speak on it saying, "It wasn't really a scuffle. I felt like Anunoby really went high with his elbow. That's what really got me started. We needed some physicality. I felt like when we played them in Toronto, they did everything too freely. So this is just me trying to set the tone for how we need to play the whole series." It must have worked that day, as the Wizards won an inch closer to closing the gap. They trailed 2-1 in the series. On that same night, Marcus Morris was also fined $15,000 for criticizing officials. Mark Cuban's always been known to voice his displeasure at the referee's calls. In the second quarter of a regular season game with his team, the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas owner apparently didn't like some of the calls that were made and made his way down the court to let the referee know about it. After a shove from the owner, the ref stood his ground and gave him a shove back, and with the entire stadium going nuts, the Mavericks bench players and assistants began to break it up. This happened on April 1st and worked as a great April Fool's Day joke. Mark Cuban remembered the incident saying, "We did it," and I remember thinking, I hope this doesn't crater. When I stood up and there was that first shove, I could hear the whole place gasp. Then we went at it and I could hear everybody going nuts. Then I started laughing and blew it. It must kind of be a Celtics thing. After Paul Pierce drove to the basket and absorbed the contact one night, he celebrated and gave a fist bump right to the face of Eddie Rush, the referee that night. That's quite a way to celebrate. He waved off a foul on Paul Pierce after the incident, knowing that it was an accident. Something similar would happen with Carlos Boozer, but in a much more sensitive area. In a game against the Mavericks, Boozer would make a right-hand hook shot against Dirk for the and-one play, and to celebrate, Boozer fist-bumped referee Dan Crawford's genitalia. Danny Crawford took it like a champ, making his way over to Tom Thibodeau to discuss the play. Tibbs would ask him, "Dear God, sir, how are you still standing?" Boozer did not get fined or even fouled for punching a referee right in the phallus, making it one of the crazier player-referee interactions of all time. For more videos, including when NFL players fight referees, check out the videos on the screen and be sure to subscribe for more videos like these.